Shalom. Sorry, I wanted to make a video regarding Habakkuk, right? Um, I don't know if anybody realizes, but Habakkuk is actually explaining how Christopher Columbus came over here. All right, Habakkuk is all about Christopher Columbus invading the Promised Land, which is America. I don't know if anybody realizes this or not, but I'm going to go over it. I'm going to read it. I'm going to point out exactly where the hints are. All right. So I'm in the back hook here, but we're gonna start at chapter 3, because that's where most of it is at. Okay. A prayer of Habakkuk, the prophet, upon Sinai. O Lord, I have heard thy speech and was afraid. O Lord, revive thy work in the midst of the years. In the midst of the years, make known. In wrath, remember mercy. God came from Teman, and the Holy On from Mount Paran. His glory covered the heavens, and the earth was full of his praise, and his brightness was his delight. He had horns coming out of his hand, and there was the hiding of his power. Okay, now when we're reading this, you have to understand that it's jumping from place to place. Okay, so he can be saying something, and then it's going to just jump right into the description and then jump right back out of it. So you have to pay attention to it. It says, and his brightness was as the light. He had horns coming out of his hands. This is talking about the gun. Okay, this is talking about his gun, the weapons that they're going to be using. All right, and there was the hiding of his power, which is, the sword, but the sword is, in this case, is actually the gun. Okay? This is talking about the weapons that they're going to be using. Before him went the pestilence. Okay, so remember when they got here, uh, the sickness came. They brought pestilence with them. Okay? The people of Edom came over here and brought pestilence with them. So you have the gun, which is his weapon, which is his power, and the pestilence, which is the disease they came through with. Burning coals went forth at his feet. He stood and measured the earth. He beheld and drove asunder the nation. Okay? We already see what this is talking about. Okay? He stood and measured the earth. He beheld and drove asunder the nations. The nations. So this is telling you what the people are going to do. This is Christopher Columbus and the Edomites, what they're going to do. And the everlasting mountains were scattered. So he came over here, drove us asunder, and scattered us through slavery. The perpetual hills did bow. Perpetual hills, this is just talking about the people, did bow. His ways are everlasting. Okay, sorry. I'm going to continue. I saw the tents of Cushan, so they're jumping out of it. Okay, so remember, like I said, it's not in order. So this is like shit. It's not in order, so you have to just look at it and put it in order by yourself. Okay, you can put it in order if you read it, because we know the history. So you just read this with the knowledge of Christopher Columbus and the invasion of the Americas, and you'll understand what they're talking about. Okay, it says, I saw the tents of Cushan and the affliction, and the curtains of the land of Midian did tremble. They're using, mind you, Midian was already fucked up already. So he's not talking about that Midian. He's just naming this place here Midian, if that makes sense. Like, they're using different names, like the old Midian and the new Midian. It's weird, but when you see these things, you can put them together. You can just like, okay, just like how they'll say Egypt means two different Egypts. they're just claiming this. It's you can. It's so easy to just pick it up. I don't know. It's just so easy when I do it. I can see it, and I can see what it's saying. It's a sentence within a sentence. It's a verse within a verse. You can see it. Okay. Did tremble, meaning that the people they came by here and seen this, they did tremble. Okay. Here we go. You'll see what I'm talking about. Was the Lord displeased against the rivers, meaning that he was displeased with us? Was thine anger against the rivers? Was thy wrath against the sea, that thou didst ride upon thine horses and thy chariots of salvation? Thy bow was made quite naked. It's talking about the weapon, which is, mind you, the Lord always has a whooping stick. Okay, this is the bow that the Lord is getting ready for Israel. Okay, according to the oaths of the tribes, even thy word, thou didst cleave the earth with rivers. The mountains saw thee. We seen it. Okay, now in this verse here, this is talking about the eclipse. We're going to read it. I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain it to you. This talks about the eclipse that we seen before Christopher Columbus came by here. So this is explaining what happens with the eclipse. The mountains saw thee, and they trembled. The overflowing of the water passed by. This is talking about the sky. It's talking about the water over the earth. The water over the earth. This is the water. This is outside the firmament. It says the overflowing of the water passed by. The deep uttered his voice, meaning in space. The deep uttered his voice and lifted up his hands on high. This is meaning that they blocked the sun. They just go with me here. Just think about this. This is a puzzle. This is a puzzle. It's like a riddle, not a puzzle, but a riddle. Well, I don't want to say riddle, but it's like a message. You can see it right there. This is the deep uttered his voice and lifted up his hands on high. The sun and moon stood still in their habitation, meaning that they wanted to make it seem like the moon was blocking the sun at the same time. It stood still. You get me? It says, look, the overflowing of the water passed by. This is the sky. The deep uttered his voice and lifted up his hands on high. The mountains saw thee. The deep uttered his voice and lifted up his hands on high. The sun and moon stood still in their habitation. At the light of thine arrows they went, and at the shining of thy glittering spear. Okay, so this is talking about the eclipse, and after the eclipse, at the light of thine arrows they went. Remember, thy bow. So after the eclipse came Christopher Columbus, and at the shine of thy glittering spear, thou didst march through the land in indignation. So he used Christopher Columbus to invade America, the Americas, and all the islands. Okay? Thou didst thresh the heathen in anger. The heathen meaning that we were acting in the ways of the Gentiles. So in his eyes, we were considered heathens because of the heathen ways that we were doing. Thou wentest forth for the salvation of thy people. So he did this to save us, like to correct us. So this is our salvation, is correctness. Okay? Even for salvation with thine anointed. Thou woundest the head out of the house of the wicked, which our people were acting. So he was using Christopher Columbus to cleanse the land of the wicked by discovering the foundation unto thy neck. Thou didst strike through with his staves the head of his village. They came out as a whirlwind to scatter me. Which would happen. That's what they did. Their rejoicing was as to devour the poor secretly. This is the nature of them. Thou didst walk through the sea with thine horses, through the heaps of great waters. Great waters, they came over the great waters to the Americas. Great waters, thou didst walk through the sea with thine horses, through the heap of great waters. Okay? This is Habakkuk seeing a vision, and he knows the Lord is using Christopher Columbus. You know that this is his hand to destroy Israel. When I heard, my belly trembled, my lips quivered at the voice. Rottenness entered into my bones, and I trembled in myself, that I might rest in the day of trouble. This is Jacob's trouble. This was Jacob's trouble. You have this. I think there's 3 days that you can put together. You have the day of the Lord's sacrifice, the day of Jacob's trouble, and the I can't. One more. I don't know why my mind just went blank. But this is Jacob's trouble. Okay, remember, uh, when it says during the times of Jacob's trouble, this was Jacob's trouble. This was during the time of Jacob's trouble. What's going to happen next is we're going to be saved from Jacob's trouble. So I wish people would stop fucking saying, "Oh, Jacob's trouble's coming." You are so fucking stupid. I swear I hate you people when y'all say shit like that. How about you go back into your book and you read it? That way you can stop this nonsense with this Jacob's trouble bullshit, okay? Because the Jacob's trouble already happened. Jacob's trouble happened when Christopher Columbus came by here. Jacob's trouble happened when Jerusalem was ransacked and destroyed. Jacob's trouble. That was our trouble. Okay? What are you, fucking stupid? You can't think, oh, Jacob's trouble happened and then it's gonna happen again. Come on, man. Why does it says it'll be like Jacob's trouble? Why would they say that? Why would they say like it would be like Jacob's trouble? Why wouldn't it say this is Jacob's trouble? It says it would be like Jacob's trouble. Won't y'all Ooh, I swear, I don't know why the stupidity of you people pisses me off. And then y'all go and y'all broadcast this shit like I know what the fuck y'all talking about. Y'all are so stupid. Stop it. This was Jacob's trouble. I might rest in the day of trouble. When he cometh up unto the people, he will invade them with his troops. This is what Christopher Columbus did to our people, to the people of Nephi, to the people of Leman. He invaded us. Okay? The house of Joseph. He will invade them with his troops. Although the fig tree shall not blossom, neither shall fruit be in the vines, the labor of the olive shall fail, and the fields shall yield no meat. The flock shall be cut off from the fold, and there shall be no herd in the stalls. Okay? Alright, but anyway, I'm out. Shalom.